Using high interest debt to buy precious metals. When is this ever a good idea? In my opinion, I think that using high interest debt to buy precious metals, such as credit cards, is probably one of the worst things that you could possibly do when it comes to stacking. There are instances in which I think it is okay, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. But hang with me, and we'll get to that, and I'll tell you when I think that that's actually not a horrible idea. But generally speaking, overall, anybody watching my channel, I highly advise you not to practice this behavior of using high interest debt to buy precious metals. Credit cards typically have really high interest rates. Now, yes, some people are going to make the argument, Stacking Stormtrooper, this credit card that I have has 0% APR. I could really buy a lot of precious metals with this low interest credit card and pay it off over time. I understand that argument. Believe me, it makes sense, right? No interest on buying that. But the one thing is, if you look at these precious metals bullion dealer websites, a lot of them charge you an extra premium for credit card transactions. And in my opinion, that's in part due to the fact that there's processing fees, which they get hit with. So they're going to pass that cost over to you. So the fact that you're actually buying precious metals on credit because you just want to be able to buy silver and gold, maybe there's a dip and you don't have enough cash in order to buy that dip. So you say to yourself, hey, you know what? I'm expecting to get paid in a few weeks or a couple of weeks. I may as well just go and buy this right now. To me, that's just, you're kidding yourself. You're paying more on the premium. You also run the risk of other unforeseen things happening within your life in which you're actually going to have to use that credit card, and you're not going to necessarily be able to pay that balance off right away. There are people who have posted comments within my channel saying, Stacking Stormtrooper, I know I made a mistake. I bought precious metals, maxed out my credit cards. I know this was a bad move. I'm working on paying it off, etc. I just think that if you are accruing debt in order to have savings, it really does not make much sense, because savings is something you have when you have no debt. So using a credit card in order to purchase precious metals, whatever the case may be, by and large is just a bad idea. I don't suggest that you do it. Now, other people are going to say, Stacking Stormtrooper, but I get 2%, 3% cash back, or I get double points with purchases on XYZ, whatever. As you can tell, those of you that are really savvy when it comes to using your credit cards, I'm not one of those individuals that's really kind of, looking at this credit card and comparing the interest rates and the bonuses with this one up against this one and the APR on that one. I don't do any of that. My purchases for precious metals, I have been using mainly cash. By and large, basically just cash, and been using PayPal. Now, the one thing with PayPal that you guys, those of you that have purchased precious metals using PayPal, there is an extra fee when using PayPal to purchase your precious metals. And it's not the same as credit, because credit, using a credit card, you actually have an interest rate. PayPal, which is what I mainly use for my transactions, is just charging a processing fee on those transactions. But for me, my small business, I run everything primarily through PayPal. And so I don't really like to mix the two streams of cash for my household and my business. And so because I have, my household income and money and savings, and I have my business operating cash over here, I typically always use my PayPal account and I use my business account to buy my precious metals. I do accrue a higher cost on purchasing some of the precious metals when I'm buying online, but for me, it makes things cleaner operating my two incomes in that way. But getting back to using high interest debt to buy precious metals, when is this ever a good idea? Believe it or not, there are a couple instances in which I think you can get away with it, but you have to be very disciplined and you actually have to have the cash available to be able to pay off that credit card purchase. So what am I talking about here? I still have yet to do this because, again, I can see how credit cards can be a slippery slope for many. And once you start making these purchases, again, like I said, something unforeseen can happen in your life and you're going to be unable to pay off that credit card balance right away. And then you're going to be, I don't want to curse on my channel, but you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay. But in the event that there is a particular coin, yes, I'm saying a coin, such as, let's say, for example, the Queen Anne's Revenge. Let's just use the Queen Anne's Revenge as an example. The Queen Anne's Revenge was a very popular coin. I made a lot of money buying and selling many of those Queen Anne's Revenge coins. Same with the follow-up to that, the Royal Fortune. And I still purchased all of those coins with cash. But if you are an individual who has the means to A, flip those coins or speculative coins for profit without difficulty, and B, have the cash available to pay off those balances right away, I do not see there being an issue with making the purchases with a credit card. And let me repeat that. Using high interest debt to buy precious metals, when is this ever a good idea? I would say when you are looking to speculate on a particular coin, that when you A, have an exit, a guaranteed exit, you know that you're going to make money selling this coin or these coins or whatever it is that you're investing in. And yes, I say investing because it's a speculative move, buying and selling. You know, when you're buying something low and you're selling it for a higher price, you're making your profit. So buying this coin, you know that you have an exit strategy. You know you could sell it. You have a presence somewhere, whether it be on a Facebook group, Instagram. You have a coin club within your town or your community, whatever the case may be, or you have a network of friends that you're buying and selling with. You need to make sure that you have it out, and you need to make sure that you have the cash to pay off that balance. And I would say like immediately, and I mean immediately. Do not let a balance sit there and accrue those interest charges because, number one, you're already going to be paying that premium, like I said, on that credit card purchase. And number two, if you let those balances just sit there, then you're going to be paying for those purchases. And that's when you're going to start running into hot water. You're also going to decrease the profits in which you are banking on. So you have to make sure you have those two things set up. Now, that's in theory. And again, I still have yet to do this. I might do that in the future because my business is mainly a cash business. So I know, based on my cash flow, what I will be able to do, what I'll be able to buy, and I might use the credit card to accrue the points and then pay it off instantly within minutes of closing that transaction with whatever bullion dealer, and then I should be fine. But this is not the norm for most people. Most of the people that are watching this video, most of you watching this video, you don't necessarily have a YouTube channel. You're not a content creator. You don't have auctions or an Instagram following such as the one that I use as a primary outlet to sell my precious metals. I don't recommend doing this unless you have a way to pay off that balance immediately. Is there another time where it makes sense that you should be using high interest debt to buy precious metals? When is this ever a good idea? The only other way I could see this being, I would say, a potentially okay idea is if you have a major dip in precious metals prices, that there is an actual, I would say, dealer or opportunity for you to buy precious metals on those dips, because a lot of people say, oh, I'm buying the dip. And a lot of the times that the dips occur, the precious metals prices of the physical metal are not in line with those actual dips. Those dips are basically on the contracts and ETFs and whatnot, the trading that's being done on paper, not so much the physical stuff like this stuff that we're all buying. But if you have an opportunity to buy physical precious metals at a relatively lower cost than the norm, then you're able to see that it's a really good deal. And again, I go back to having the cash available in order to pay off that balance as soon as that transaction closes. I do not see that being a problem. A lot of the people, though, within the stacking community, a lot of us who are like-minded individuals, we really don't do that. Again, like I said in the beginning of this video, I don't buy my metals using credit cards. I never have. I still am undecided if I ever will. Most likely I won't. But like I said, in the event that there's maybe some really hot new release that I know without a shadow of a doubt is going to sell, that I will be able to make a profit on, I may consider doing it at that point. But again, I wouldn't do it unless I had all the cash to cover that transaction. So overall, is it ever a good idea using high interest debt to buy precious metals? When is this ever a good idea? Overall, I would say never. Stay away from those channels that are telling you to max out your credit cards and go buy silver and gold and back the truck up because silver and gold are going to skyrocket. They are doing you a disservice. Make sure you are educated. Make sure you consume more information from other YouTube channels, websites, and whatnot. Places that are not looking to necessarily sell you silver and gold. You really want to, or maybe even ask a financial advisor. But those channels that are saying that you should back the truck up, max out your credit cards and buy silver and gold is absolutely ridiculous. Don't listen to them. They are feeding you some of the worst advice possible. And if any of you discover or find that video that I am talking about where there's this precious metals channel that was talking about this either on a live stream or on a video that they posted, please make sure, comment down below. Let us know, because I remember I talked about it with a couple other content creators who saw the video, and I tried to find it and I couldn't find it, but I have seen some people talking about this, and I've seen some of that type of advice being kind of thrown out into the ether, and I just think that is just really bad advice. Again, high interest credit cards, that debt is the bad debt. You don't want it. It's not saving anything. This is a savings. You're not saving jack unless you don't have any debt. And so if you have a massive credit card balance or a credit card balance and you have the silver and gold over here, well, that's a totally different topic that I'm going to get into. Let's maybe let's make that a part 2 to this. In fact, you know what? Those of you that have made it this far, we're going to do that. We're going to call it a part 2. What do you do if you have high interest credit card debt and loans and whatnot, but you do have silver and gold? We're going to talk about that in a part 2 follow-up to this video. But again, guys, using high interest debt to buy precious metals, when is this ever a good idea? By and large, never. Don't do it. You heard it here. Long live the Empire. And I just want to quickly thank these elite channel supporters, and if you haven't become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, I'm the Stacking Stormtrooper. Check out these videos. Until next time, long live the Empire.